Hi. Hi everyone. I am going to just take a couple minutes here and let people join on for the live travel coach training today. Make sure that I can see any comments that come in. If you're here, drop a hi. Let me know where you're coming in from and watching from. Let's see. Just give me 1 second. We're just going to let some people join on here. Let's see if we can see anybody. Facebook's changed just a little bit, so I just want to make sure that I can see everything. So hi everyone, welcome to the Travel Coach Network. This is my free Facebook group. Today I'm doing a training all about travel coaching. First, as we have people join on here, if you can see me or if you see this, just drop a emoji or say hi or something so I can see where it pops up on since Facebook has changed quite a bit here on the lives. Today, I'm going to be talking all about everything travel coaching, where to begin, how to create an offer, how to find your niche and your area of expertise. And I've had a lot of people asking me questions over the past about year or so of, where can they get started? How do they get started? Exactly what a travel coach is, what the Travel Coach Network is about. So I'm going to be going over all of that today. If you have any questions, just make note of them and type them in at the end. I'm going to be doing a Q&A for you, and I'm happy to answer any questions for you guys. So I'll get to those at the end. So just make a note of it, and when Q&A comes, I will answer those for you. And if you have been interested in the travel coach program or anything like that, you're going to want to stay to the end because I'm going to be giving a code for you to save $100, which is going to be the lowest price possible ever on the travel coach program. So that's a little bonus for those who stay to the end of this training. If you're watching the replay, just drop a hashtag replay for me, and let's get started here. So hi, I'm Sahara Rose. I am a travel coach, a world traveler, and founder of the Travel Coach Network. I'm a published author, and I've been in over 45 plus media outlets and publicity all about my adventures around the world, as well as my Travel Coach Network, things like Forbes, Business Insider, Thrive Global, USA Today, and whatnot. So I'm so excited to be here to share with you some tips and ideas and advice on how you can get started on creating your own travel coaching dream business. So who am I? I started as a broke college student who changed my money mindset, wound up traveling the world for over a decade and falling in love with travel. I used travel in the beginning to help heal me, to help me find my direction and my passion in life. I had always been someone who struggled with anxiety. I was never someone who had a clear career path to go on. I always enjoyed doing so many different things, and when I graduated university, I had a feeling that going out and seeing the world would be able to help me figure out some of these answers for myself of who I wanted to be and what kind of life I wanted to have, and ultimately what kind of career path I wanted to dedicate my life to. So fell in love with travel, and I wound up spending over a decade traveling then to more than 84 countries by the time that I was 30, 31. And then turning that passion and love and knowledge into my own travel coaching business, which inspired me to find the Travel Coach Network. I became a travel coach because throughout all my years of traveling, I had always kept a blog, never monetized it, just did it for a way that was fun and I could share my stories and my tips and my advice. I had so many people, friends, families, People online asking me how I was able to travel so much, how I was able to afford it, things like safety, all my solo female backpacker tips. So I enjoyed sharing all that information, but I never knew of a way to turn that into a way to really monetize it that didn't take so much of my time and energy away from traveling. Meaning, even though I had a blog, I didn't focus on being a writer or a blogger per se, because I didn't want to alter my voice and spend too much time that would take away from me enjoying the adventure that I set out on to find myself and find these answers. So I just enjoyed sharing tips and tricks. So even though I really enjoy traveling and I had a degree in have a degree in hospitality and tourism management, I never really had a clear idea of what I can make of this. And I knew that I had so much knowledge in travel. My experiences were unique. My skills were very sought after. My advice and tips and everything. And I didn't know exactly what I can make of this. But I did know that I did not want to do things like do bookings as a travel agent, because even though I got a taste of that, it was not my thing. I did not enjoy it. My anxiety played in and it made me overthink things. So I didn't want to go down that route. And like I said, I didn't want to be a writer or a blogger because I really don't enjoy writing too much. But I did love talking about travel and helping people and inspiring people to have journeys of their own and the ability to be able to have experiences and trips that were going to change their life and their overall well-being, because I knew that's what traveling did for myself. But what did this all mean? So when I decided to become a travel coach, even though no one was really doing it in a way that stuck out to me or that inspired me, I kind of stumbled upon it within the coaching world and starting a business, because I said to myself, if I'm struggling to find what I really want in life, then I'm going to have to create it myself when it comes to a career, because I'm tired of chasing all these other options out there and nothing wasn't resonating with me. I didn't want to be an influencer that just got paid to travel. I wasn't seeking free travel. I wasn't seeking to grow a huge Instagram following. None of those things really aligned with what I wanted. And even though I didn't have full clarity on what I wanted, I knew what I didn't want. And therefore I knew I'd have to create something of my own. And that's where I created my own travel coaching business. I loved helping and sharing my tips and tricks in a way that made me money and inspired me to grow my business in a way that I never really thought possible. So what is a travel coach? Well, under my travel coach network, a travel coach is, well, first of all, let's say what they're not. A travel coach is not a travel agent. A travel coach doesn't do bookings. Those are special trainings. But with that said, I do have travel coaches in the Travel Coach Network who come from a travel agent background, who do have that expertise and just find a way to combine their travel agent booking expertise with their travel coaching knowledge. So therefore, a travel coach is really anyone who's a passionate, ambitious traveler who wants to use their own specific and unique experiences, knowledge, expertise, whatever field that might be, to help people travel better, more effectively, and really make an impact in a way in the lives or the world that aligns with themselves. So for instance, maybe you're a solo female traveler and that's what you know, and you want to help women of a certain age range, or maybe women who coming out of divorce, or helping them cope with a certain situation in their life, use travel as a way, because maybe that happened to you. Maybe that's what travel brought to your life. Maybe you're a couple that travels together and you know all these different things about traveling as a couple, and people come to you and ask you online or in person, how do you do what you do? How do you have this lifestyle? How do you travel in that way? What can you tell me that I can do that will help me be able to have more experiences like this or have more freedom like that? So these are things that travel coaches do. But the beauty of it is that travel coaching is so unique to everybody. Every traveler is different. That's what inspired me to start and create the Travel Coach Network, because my background as a traveler was just budget female solo travel. That's what I did. That's what I knew. That's what I talked about. That's what I could share about. But then the more that I traveled, the more questions I got asked from people who would come to me and say, hey, I'm a Black woman who wants to travel. What tips do you have for me? And although I can tell her certain things of being a female or being solo, I didn't have that perspective from a cultural background, or I couldn't step in her shoes and know what it felt like. Or that maybe they were a mom who traveled with their children and said, hey, I want some tips on how can I incorporate more travel into my children's life. I didn't have that background. I didn't have that experience and expertise. But traveling around the world for over a decade, I had met so many other travelers who did have those answers, who did have that knowledge and those skills that they could inspire and motivate and inform these people with the questions. So I created the Travel Coach Network to bridge that gap, to bring those passionate travelers who are travel coaches or travel experts in their own specific niche or field with those who wanted a more desirable travel experience, knowledge, skills, and a better overall lifestyle or well-being or whatever it is they were seeking travel to do for them. So I created the Travel Coach program, which you might have seen some of my content. You might have seen on my Facebook page or my website already. I talk a lot about my Travel Coach program and my Travel Coach members in my program, because I knew that from the very beginning, I wish that I had someone to go to say, this is exactly what you have to do, or this is how you can jumpstart your own journey as a travel coach. So that's what I put together. So again, we'll talk a little bit more about that at the end, and stick around if you want the discount on the program. But I really want to get it. I'm really excited to get into this training here. And again, if there's any, I can't see anybody here. So just let me know in any way if you can see this or what's going on here. Let me just see for a second here. Okay. Just to make sure that it is working, and I'm live. I just can't see anybody. So sorry if you're watching this. Not Ryan. Awesome. Thank you. It popped up. Okay. I was like, the setup is so different now. Okay, cool. So what we're going to be talking about in the training, so we're going to jump in here, and what to expect out of this training. We're going to be talking about, first, let's say who this training is even for. You don't have to be just a travel coach or inspired to be a travel coach, or you don't have to travel to 84 countries to be watching this training. This is for anyone who maybe you already have a travel business of some sort. Maybe you are a coach of some sort, but you have this burning passion for travel, and you've always wanted to figure out a way to incorporate your love, your knowledge, your expertise in travel with how you can help people. Thank you for the thumbs up that you can see. Okay, cool. So there's so many wellness coaches that come to me, or wellness experts, and they say, I already specialize in the wellness space. How can I incorporate travel into that? Or there's people from the very beginning. I'm just a traveler. What can I do with this? I don't want, or maybe they have had a background in travel, being a travel agent, but they want to do more. So this training is for anyone who is just a passionate traveler, ambitious on starting something that's greater, making a bigger impact through your love and knowledge of travel. So let's begin here. Where do you start when trying to become a travel coach? It's really, the beginning is within yourself. Figuring out, where does this drive for travel come from? Where does this love for travel come from? What is your story? That's the very foundation of becoming a travel coach. It's one thing to put advice and tips and tricks out there, to write articles, or, to spread that knowledge. But there's always going to be a mental block for you if you don't create that solid foundation. So in your solid foundation, you want to figure out what your story is. not only is this strategic for the content you create and the offers you provide and the transformations that you help people with, or whatever it is that you end up doing in your business, but it's also for yourself, because it creates that authenticity that you need in a way that resonates and draws in the ideal clients. And what do I mean by that? So those who relate to you and resonate with you and your story most are those who are most likely going to follow you, like you, buy from you, talk about you to someone else, because they connect with you. But you can't put that out there if you don't dig within and figure out, okay, where does this come from? Why did I start traveling in the first place? Why travel versus anything else? Oh, I forgot to mention to you guys, in the link in the description to this video, I created a free beginner's guide to travel coaching. So download that on there. The link is in the description. So grab your free beginner's guide to travel coaching. Download that. If you have any issues with it, let me know. It's also going to be going out to those in my email list. So if you're on my email list and you want to grab it that way, excellent. That's going to help you along the process through this training, as well as afterwards, to help jumpstart your own journey. So creating your story, where's your passion come from? Think about and get raw with yourself. Don't just say, I love to travel, I wanted to go to this country, I like architecture, whatever it might be. Go below the surface and say, what is it that travel did for myself or does for myself? Like I said, my personal background comes from this itch to figure out who I was and what I wanted and although I was struggling so much with anxiety and bouts of depression in my life, right after graduating from university years ago, I hadn't traveled anywhere yet, but I knew that there was a whole big world out there and people who I wanted to explore the world, meet new people, and try to find these answers to these questions that I didn't have fully formed yet. I didn't know where my travels were going to take me, but I knew that if I started somewhere, somehow, it would lead me in a direction in some way that would make sense to me, or to take me in the direction that I was meant to go in at whatever point in my life that was supposed to happen. So just ask yourself, where does this come from? What is driving me to travel? And what has travel done for myself? Has it healed you in some way? Has it inspired you in some way? So think about that when you're crafting your journey. What transformation has it provided for you? And then now you want to figure out, after you have that story and that foundation of who you are and your values in life and your values that then rolled into your business that you're going to create, figuring out what your niche is, what your area of expertise is. And that's a lot of times where people get stuck, because it's like, well, I don't know what I could be an expert in. I know how to travel on a budget. I know how to book trips. I know how to, whatever, take great photos, traveling. Those are all very key components to figuring out what your niche expertise is, but they're just very small pieces of that. That's where you go back to your story, to that foundation, and say, okay, this is what I fully believe in travel, because it's what I relate to. It's what it's done for me. So how can I use that to make a career or help people in a way that's impactful and that I'm passionate about? So just because I can book trips too, like I said, I mean, traveling 84 countries, I know how to book a trip for cheap. It doesn't mean I want to do it in my travel coaching career. So it's figuring out, what do you enjoy doing? Where does your passions, your interests lie? Make a list for yourself and say, what are all the things that I'm good at? What are all the things that I've had experience in? What are the things that I love most about travel? And then take a look at all that. And then cross off the ones that you don't want to incorporate into a business, or that you don't enjoy really doing. And then I want you to write down all the questions that people come to you for. What do you find yourself talking most about? When you're holding a conversation with people, I used to get in trouble before I became a travel coach, because I worked so many different jobs, and I'd come back from a trip and I would have conversation with a coworker, and we'd just talk about travel for over an hour, and they're like, Sahara, get back to work. But it's like, I could talk about certain things about travel forever. And I knew that part of what I loved to talk about wasn't saying, oh, use this website, or, oh, here's a great tip for you to stay safe as a female. I loved giving people the inspiration that empower them in a way that let them believe that they are capable of not spending a fortune on travel, that travel is doable, and that it is a way to help heal them in some way. That is the root of why I loved travel and why I became a travel coach. And then I had to go, where do I go with this? That's where you pull in your specific skills and area of expertise and your experiences to say, this is the foundation of what I love about travel, want to help people with. And these are the skills and experiences that I have to help build upon that. So finding your niche, finding your expertise is very specific to you. You don't have to look at these huge categories of solo backpacker, solo female, whatever it might be, and say, I have to fit in one of these. You don't. That is another beautiful thing about travel coaching, is that it's very unique to yourself. You love the wellness industry and you have a passion for travel, combine it. You have been good with you have a passion for intuition and travel, combine it. You have a passion for travel photography, and combine that with something else that you love, or run with that and give people do something that's different that others have not done. So basically, it's up to you, but really you won't have that answer now if you don't start with finding the foundation and creating that story, looking within and figuring out what travel means, what you want to do with that, and how you want to make an impact on either people and or the world. And when I say the world, not being dramatic here, I just mean like sustainability, or more mindful travel, or cultural travel. There's so many different areas to go. And if culture is something that's really important to you, or you really appreciate, or you enjoy talking or helping people on, there's so many things that you can do when it comes to helping people understand cultures better. Maybe that looks like in the business industry. One thing I failed to mention is that my area of expertise in focus and expertise as a travel coach is actually in the business travel industry and corporate wellness. So if you're ever taking a look at my website, thetravelcoachnetwork.com, you'll see all that stuff on there. That's what I do. Those are the programs I create, the people that I help, because I decided to go branch into the area. But it's based on the foundation of wellness and my framework that I created, which I will talk a little bit about here, but it's obviously much more apparent and very thorough in the travel coach program of how to create a framework. But so finding your experiences, think about what people often ask you most about. What do people come to you for? If you have a blog, look at the analytics, see what people are most reading or most interested in. That's what inspired me to write my book. I tracked analytics and saw what articles were more popular, and one spiked far beyond all the others, and I ended up taking that and turning that content into a published book, and that was about travel and mindset and tips and tricks. What do you enjoy teaching or helping people most with? What do you know about travel that others don't know? What are your beliefs in travel, and what does your ideal job in travel look like? So if you could sculpt your ideal career in travel, whether you want to label yourself a travel coach or not, what does that look like? Take a piece of paper, write it down. What's in the guidebook too, you write it on there. What does your ideal job look like? When I graduated from university, and I have a degree in hospitality and tourism management, at 22, I could have easily, after graduation, applied and got to any job that paid me to travel. Like people were telling me to do, my mom was telling me to do, family was telling me to do, society was telling me to climb that corporate ladder, get a good job. But in my heart, I wanted to explore the world and I wanted more out of life. At 22, no one knows who they are yet and what they want. And with that said, there weren't any jobs that caught my attention and said, yes, I'd rather do this than go with my route of traveling. So it looped back around, and now I'm a specialist in business travel and corporate wellness. But if I had this career back at 22, so right after graduation, I would say, yes, that sounds amazing. I'm going to learn what I need to learn, have the experiences that I need to do that, to be a travel coach, to figure out what that means to me and how I can make an impact with that. But I didn't have that. So I set off to travel. But write down what your ideal career looks like to you. How do you get there? How do you get there with your travel coaching business, your travel coaching career? After you do the foundation, creating your story, finding your area of expertise, finding your niche, really doing this self analysis about yourself, your experiences, your life, your knowledge. Where do you go from there? That's where I talk a lot about in my program, the importance of research. When I say research, I mean actually like sitting on the computer, Googling everything and anything you can about the space of not only travel industry, but the space that you're interested in. For me, for instance, it was business travel. I studied the corporate wellness world, corporate world. I studied the wellness industry. And I took pieces of that and said, okay, what is it that I believe in travel when I create my framework? What does that look like? And when I say framework, what I mean by that is I want you to think about 4 to 8 pieces of just main things about travel, key words, key categories about travel that you believe in most, that you're most passionate about, that you want to talk about, that you want to help people with, and incorporate in there. I share in my program exactly what my framework is. You can also find it on my website with my unique travel coach approach. But you have to create your own framework, and that helps so much with then figuring out how to create offers, how to target clients, how to create content, and so many other good things. So how do you get there? With research. Spending time figuring out what is it that I don't know yet that will help strengthen my perspective, my beliefs, my information, my approach with what I do as a travel coach. So maybe you're in the holistic world. Maybe you are in the maybe you are someone who is retiring from their corporate career and you're traveling. Maybe you're 50 and over and you want to figure out, how can I help other people like me? Because I enjoy adventure. I understand the corporate space that we've been in for so long and what life looks like after that. And you want to help people that way. There's so many different avenues to go down, but it's up to you to figure out, what does that mean to you? Figure out what problems, voids, shortages existed throughout your experiences traveling, throughout your time doing research, and what does that look like? And when I talk about problems, shortages, and voids, that means, what did you realize? What did you wish that you had? What did you notice a lot of people were using, wanted, wished for, didn't want, needed, in whatever space it was? And I'll give you an example why I find that so important. It's exactly what inspired me to become a travel coach and found the Travel Coach Network. I realized throughout my time traveling, the first 5 years was before all the technology and all the apps and social media and everything that we really have now, all the tools and resources. So I had a different experience traveling than people who begin their travel journey now or travel a lot more now. It's just so much easier and so much better ways for communication and all that good stuff. But the last half of the decade that I spent traveling, just as backpacker, I realized that that's when social media started coming about. Instagram came about, the influencer world came. There was things like MLMs. There's all these different things. So that's also the thing I wanted to mention. Travel coaching and Travel Coach Network is not MLM. That is a common question, and it's also, so sticking on that, this is a career for you that's unique to yourself and helps you build your own business. Has nothing to do with anyone else. Also, with that said, travel coaching, I've seen other people write, I'm a travel coach or I have a travel coaching business, but in their definition, what it meant was that they are a travel agent who trains travel agents, not under my definition of the Travel Coach Network by any means. So going to do my very best to clarify that in everything I put out there, and what I do as Sahara Rose with my Travel Coach Network and my Travel Coach program. This is you Just like as you think about if you were a life coach, a health coach, a business coach, anything. This is your business of your own, just guiding community and everything to help you. And so when I was traveling and I realized all these things that were happening, or all these things that became popular, that they still didn't resonate with me. The blogging world was booming, everything. I didn't want to be an influencer. None of that. I didn't care about any of that. So I said, there must be something more. So that was a void in the industry. Some of the problems were let's take the blogging industry in particular. Bloggers were struggling. They're struggling to make enough money to be able to continue with the lifestyle that they wanted, or the adventures that they wanted, or whatever it was that they were seeking, without having to alter their voice, spend too much time on their computer writing, or just worrying if they're actually going to get paid, or when they're going to get paid next, or get booked, or whatever it is. I didn't want that either. Those were problems. I saw the technology world on the rise. I knew what people were using, what people didn't want, what companies were offering. And then I studied through my research the business, travel, and corporate world. Burnout epidemic, people not using their vacation days, all these things. And I said, there must be a better way. If you're ever interested in wondering how I got into the business travel area as a travel coach, despite skipping the corporate world and never actually traveling for business outside of my own business for the past 2 years, I'm happy to share that I'll do a video sometime, or I'm happy to share that with you. It's a really fun, cute story of a businessman on a flight that I took. So now we're going to go into how to find your ideal client. So we covered where to begin, how to start, digging deep, figuring out that foundation, figuring out your story, your values. When I say values, is what were your values traveling? Your core values: humanity, compassion, authenticity, generosity. As a human being, what are your core values that you carry throughout all these different aspects of your life? That rolls into your business, because this business is you. No matter what business you have, it's you. And that's how you want to put yourself out there, how you want to treat people, how you want your messaging to come about, how you want people to perceive you. So figure out what your core values are, and take a look at what if you're not quite sure, maybe you're brand new to business, or you never really had to think about it before, think about what was important to you as an overall value when it came to traveling. I tried always to be as generous as I could to people, to give in any way that I could, to understand people. So generosity has always been a core value of mine. Authenticity as well. I always try to be as truthful, as honest, and kind, and real, and raw as I can. Traveling, to other people, to everything. So I carried that throughout my business. So the core values are very important also for the foundation of your business. And then you figured out what your niche is, your area of expertise might be, and then strengthening that with research, analyzing what problems, voids, shortages you realize through your research and through your experiences in the areas that you are interested in. If you're not quite sure, use the guidebook, just brainstorm ideas, and then maybe something will pop out to you, or categorize those problems and voids. And then now we're going to talk about figuring out who your ideal client is. Obviously, you can't get to this point if you hadn't started from the very beginning. If you don't know who you are, what you can offer, or how you want to impact people, you won't know who to impact, right? So when it comes to your ideal client, when you think about to yourself, who do you enjoy helping most? Obviously we like to help everybody, but in particular, who do you see yourself making the most impact on? Are you a mother? Is it women? Is it men? Is it men of a certain age group? Is it women of a certain age group? Are it people struggling in the corporate space? Is it other people who are interested in wellness, or people who are going through a tragic life event and want to heal through travel in some way? Are they people who just really like to go to Hawaii? How specific are you? Who is your ideal client? Who can you use your interests, your expertise, your knowledge, your skills your passion to help most. Who resonates most with you? Who connects with most with you? Who do you enjoy talking to and helping and transforming their lives most? And why? Why them? Why them versus anyone else? I want you to make a list of characteristics in your guidebook of these people, attributes about them, characteristics about them, whether their goals or dreams or wants, their problems, their pain points. Write these down. That helps you figure out more who your ideal client is. What impact do you see yourself making in their life? What transformation can you provide them with? Think about what transformation you went through in your life. Or what transformation, what problems are you seeing through your research? Maybe it's just research on Facebook or Instagram or in Facebook groups or Facebook forums. What are people talking about? What questions are being asked? What do you find yourself writing comments to most about? Engaging with people most about? So what transformation do you see that came from yourself that is either similar or the same that you could help others obtain? And then crafting your offer. So once you can figure out who your ideal client is, why them, then you want to figure out how you can offer something to them. That's where your transformation comes into play. What are their pain points? Meaning, what are they struggling most with? What do they want? What are their goals? What do they need? What do they dream of? And what are the results, the outcomes, the end point that they want? What experience do they want? What transformation are they looking for? That's your transformation from point A to point Z. And then in between, that's your offer. This here, that's your offer. It's kind of funny, but that's it. Point A to point Z. Your offer is in between. What transformation are you providing them? What solution are you providing them with? What does that look like? This training is just a little snippet of what I talk about in the Travel Coach program. Or any of my offers or anything in the Travel Coach network, because obviously there's so much more to that. You want to figure out other things to help you figure out your offer are things like what are you interested in doing? That might be in your guidebook as well. What are you interested in doing? Do you like working in groups? Do you prefer to do one-on-one coaching? Do you want to do collaborations? Do you want to do partnerships? Do you want to level up to the corporate world? Do you want to stand on stages and speak? Do you want to work events? Do you want to be a collaboration in the wellness space? What does it look like to you? What interests you that will inspire you to create an offer, a product, a service, a solution, a transformation that ultimately gets you paid? And that's your revenue streams, your money. And how can you scale that? How can you grow that? How can you use that offer to create another offer, to grow another audience, to learn even more about them? And it just goes on from there. I won't overfill you with too many things because the guidebook gives you a lot of brainstorming steps, a lot of beginning tools for you to get your wheels turning of these very first really important steps of becoming a travel coach. So with that said, like I said, the Travel Coach program, I'm here if you have any questions. Feel free to start dropping your questions in there. If you came up with any, if you wrote any down, let me know. Lifetime access to the Travel Coach program. It's not only a program that helps you become a travel coach, it also focuses so much on the business aspect. That's something that I wish that I had from the very beginning too. There's so many do this, do that, buy this, buy that, go this way, you must be like this, must be like this coach, you must be like this person in business. And it can get overwhelming. It can shut you down in a way that makes you not want to do anything or puts everything to the side, right? And the Travel Coach program is so beautifully crafted in a way that not only helps you with your travel coaching journey, but it helps you become an entrepreneur, a business owner as well, especially with our monthly trainings where we talk about things like optimizing your blog, content creation, getting media and publicity, spreading your message with the world, how to scale your offer, how to do collaborations and partnerships, affiliate marketing, affiliate programs, and what that all looks like. And you get the community. The people that are in the community of the Travel Coach Network and the Travel Coach program are some of the most amazing people who I haven't even met in person yet, but have made such a big impact on my life. And also, anyone who joins the Travel Coach program, you're going to be getting 1 year of free access to the Travel Coach Network membership club, which is going to be launching in a couple months, which gives you, in addition, my Travel Entrepreneur Fast Track entire course, which you might see on as well. You can take a look at the link at the travelcoachnetwork.com. You can find out what's in that course and the membership as well. But for those who stay to the end, I want you to use code TRAINING100 to save $100 off of the Travel Coach program. Again, the link is in the description for you. That's training, TRAINING 100 to save $100. This is the lowest price that the Travel Coach program is ever going to be at. The price is going to be going up for a really exciting reason. I'll be telling you soon. So use that code or send me a message if you have any questions at all. If you have questions now, please drop them in the comments. I'm happy to answer them for you. I'm not sure if I have to go to this questions area or where you guys were. If I don't see your questions for whatever reason, please send me a message on Instagram, here on Facebook. Send me an email, sahararositravels@gmail.com. And I'm happy to inspire you, to help you brainstorm if you ever just want to have a video chat and just pick my brain to help you get some idea of what direction to go in. I'm here for you for anything that you need. I really appreciate you who have joined this live training. I will be sending this replay out for those on the email list and in my groups and pages. Again, be sure to download that free beginner's guide to travel coaching that is in the description of this video. Angie Feet, whatever your real name is, you're so great for joining. Thank you, Ryan, as well. And again, I'm here if you guys have any questions about anything, and use that code training100 to save $100 off of the Travel Coach program. And I will see you all soon.